Hey everyone. Someone just asked me about our training program and what made it different and why. Because it's actually quite different from a lot of the training programs out there for people wanting to get into psychedelic or ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. Really different. And so I thought I would say why in a really concrete way. Frankly, there's a couple big points. One is most of the programs out there don't teach enough concrete nuts and bolts how-to skills for the actual medicine sessions. There's a couple reasons for that, but a big one is that a lot of the programs out there aren't even teaching you to do therapy while the people are on the medicine. So if you're going into a training program that is essentially teaching you to be a sitter, to sit for the person on the medicine and then integrate it afterwards, that is not, in our opinion, psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy. That's being a sitter and then doing integration skills, which is a valuable skill set, but not the same thing. We train people to actually do therapy on the medicine and how. And that is a skill set that takes some training. You have to understand dosing. You have to understand what it feels like to be spoken to and interacted with in an altered state and so on. So there's a lot to learn there, but we actually teach those skills really concretely. So by the time you come through our program, you literally know how to do that. And those kinds of sessions are much more impactful than the model I already described, which is, holding space and being a sitter and then integrating. We are actively interacting with the person while they are essentially tripping, often in more milder psychedelic or even psycholytic dose ranges, which is a concept that we teach a lot about. All of our graduates come out doing, active therapy interventions on the medicine. It's a big deal. A second difference is that we require you to do a lot of medicine experiences yourself in our program, because you really can't guide someone through it, especially in the ways that we teach, which is a lot more kind of nuanced and a lot more content, related, the content of the session, that the content of the person's experience is really being worked with in the moment. You can't do that unless you've experienced that on the receiving end. So we have our trainees go through 4 different routes of administration with different doses, different set and setting variables and context. So they learn a lot about the ways that ketamine sessions can look and how they can be experienced. So by the time you kind of come out of our training program, you know a lot about the varieties of ways that ketamine sessions can look. And then we're teaching to that content a lot. So you come out having experienced yourself on ketamine a lot in order for you to, what we call, develop a relationship with the medicine, or relationship with being in that kind of altered state. What does that mean for you? How do you navigate it? So we hold those as 2 real priorities for you being qualified to do this work. 1, that you know how to do therapy on the medicine. 2, that you really know what it feels like to be on the medicine and to navigate different ways of being in that medicine. So it's not an entirely passive experience. It's a tool that you're using. And most of the ketamine training programs out there are not doing these things. So we are not the only one, but we're one of the only ones. So we would just recommend that you look into those 2 outcomes that you might want to have for yourself. So nuts and bolts skills, doing therapy on the medicine, getting a lot of experience. The last thing that we do that I think not a lot of programs do is we put a big emphasis on mentoring you into a career. So we really work with you about your individual setup with your existing practice, what your vision is for what you would like to achieve, what are the hurdles or obstacles on a logistic level that you may need to have in place to move into being skilled to do the work and actually doing the work and implementing it in your brick and mortar practice. So we individualize that. And so part of our program is mentoring you about, how will this look for your practice? Because everyone's a little bit different in their needs and their preferences. So if you want to have the kind of ketamine practice that I've described, that is much more in-depth, and that you want to have the mentoring of, learning how to get into the work, look at our training program. These are things that we do better. And whether you work with us or anyone else, we wish you good luck in your journey into being a ketamine-assisted psychotherapist. It's a really exciting frontier. It's really humbling. It's really moving. I have a lot of gratitude for even being allowed to be in these spaces. And so I honor those of you who are feeling called to this, whether we end up crossing paths or not.